Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and get started with the council meeting. Basically, so everybody's aware of it, we do not have a full quorum, but under state statute 17-105, I can actually vote to make quorum, so I can go ahead and take the place and be the third individual. So Lisa basically will be running the meeting, and I'll be voting.
Awesome.
Due to the lack, like I say, of a quorum, we have one member of the council is out of the state. The other member has health issues right now, so it's under state statute 17-105.
Greg, do you have another agenda that we can grab from you? If not, that's fine. We can share.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, so we'll go ahead and open the meeting. Announcement of the Open Meeting Act, which is posted over here on the northwest corner of the meeting room here. And we will go ahead and do a roll call. Brad?
Yes.
Greg?
Here.
Tony?
Here.
Joel and Skylar are absent. We'll go ahead and stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, we're going to go ahead and open up our 2020-2021 budget hearing. I apologize for the advertised agenda on the radio that was 2019-20. It should be 2020-21 budget hearing and tax request. There are a couple of extra copies up here at the table if anybody would like to look at one. For purposes of the budget for this year, the city council is presenting a budget with the tax levy the same as last year, 45 cents per $100 valuation. The certified valuation for the city this year did increase a little over, not quite 2%, so the total property tax request at the 45-cent valuation will be $408,661. Starting with page 2 of the budget document that you have in front of you, it's breaking down our projected revenues. What we will be asking for the budget for this year in revenues will be $5,158,933. That's for just beginning cash balances and funds held at the Brown County Treasurer's offices, plus other receipts that we anticipate receiving throughout the year. We are looking at a total revenues and assets of $11,399,762, with projected expenses, disbursements, and transfers. We are budgeting $9,396,033. So that will give us a cash reserve essentially, should we spend all of that and receive all of that, of $2,003,729. Are there any questions on the budget document that was in the newspaper or that you have in front of you? City council work or general public? Essentially, I guess, a lot of the expenses, we are rebudgeting the wastewater improvement improvement project expenses because that project is not finished. So the loan close and the grant funds that we anticipate receiving and expending essentially will all fall in this coming fiscal year for the most part. So that is all carried forward. As is the FEMA reimbursements for the street improvement repairs. A lot of you are budgeting for most of that to come in the next fiscal year as well.
There hasn't been any changes since we did our reviews.
Right, so
There
the,
haven't been any other changes since then.
correct, yeah. City council members met sort of individually and formally for budget workshops prior to this hearing. Where basically the budget was reviewed line by line, and so the council's comments and recommendations on that budget are incorporated into this document that we're presenting.
I see the new taxable value of 90.8 million. Do you know what the 19?
I think it was 80,
See that?
89. Or do you have the page by page that I gave you?
No, I don't have it.
Okay.
What, you mean, you wrote down?
The one that I printed out for you earlier today.
Yeah.
Oh, 89 million, page 9, Greg, 89,360,580 was the 2019 valuation.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So yeah, the growth value essentially was $390,490 as certified by the county assessor.
We added some items to the budget, or increased some line items on the budget to account for the fact that there's gonna be a second generator purchase for backup power from lift stations, which initially we were gonna do with all of the rest of the wastewater project, but couldn't because of, I don't remember the exact reason behind that, but ran
The
over.
way the bids came
The way
in.
the bids come in. So, that's one of the pieces. One of the things that I requested that they change on the line items was that we increase the budget for well and pump maintenance. Our budgeted amount was not enough that if we would have a problem, to be able to handle it within the budget. There aren't any foreseen problems, but the reality is the cost of those repairs when they do come is far exceeded our $15,000 line item budget that we had last year. So I just wanted to make sure that that was addressed in the budget so that if there was issues, we had the facility, we had the ability to do that without having to have a special meeting to deal with those problems at the time. Because if you have a major breakdown, then special meetings or time of the essence aren't really what you're wanting to deal with. But yeah, I think the only other really big items that we changed much was there other than those, Lisa?
Well, I think we increased some line item expenditures for this building, anticipating some HVAC repairs and some things of that nature. The building's getting, well, it's 20 years old.
And we put some in there, we're hoping that we can, when they do the highway project, we can make some changes with the drainage off the front of the building to get it into the storm drain system under the highway. Because right now, we've got a real problem with this north, or the south side of the building with how the drainage works off of the gutters, and the ice won't accumulate on the building on the, here where the main traffic is. So we put that in there. A little bit for concrete down at the city building, the street department building, in order to address some issues down there. I can't think of anything else that was really anything.
Computers, you increased
Oh,
that
yeah,
with the
yeah.
fiber change.
Upgrading some software. We have, for some of the departments, street department, the park department, we're anticipating the need for new pickups, one each for those departments. Not brand new, of course, but new
we also put in there funding to be able to do the next phase of the underground sprinklers.
Correct, on the south side of the swimming pool. We did the north side this year, basically the sidewalk from the end of the swimming pool to the entrance to the park. So this is kind of phase two, putting on the south side, trying to eliminate the big heavy wheels that the staff have to and move.
When we talk about that, you know, back to the computer deal is, so with the illnesses and stuff this last year and having closed down and stuff like that, you know, to work from home if need be and stuff like that, and be able to data it back into the computer and stuff, and still be able to run the business or the city, yeah, get home.
We took into consideration some changes with the garbage department potentially. That decision hasn't fully been made by the council yet, but we did, for budgeting purposes, we did, you know, put some numbers in there to cover some different scenarios if we end up purchasing a truck and those sorts of things. As far as capital improvement projects, really, it's the wastewater project still, all those expenses had to be carried. A lot of the FEMA, because that hasn't been, the reimbursements haven't been received yet, a lot of that debt is carried over as well. But other capital improvement projects, we really didn't budget for in May. We've got, of course, the Highway 20 project that will be occurring next spring and summer. It's going to be, Jess and I just met with Mr. Kovar right before lunch today, and kind of went through that project. But the city council had approved basically around $100,000 of improvements in utilities in connection with the Highway 20 project, so that is in consideration of the budget, as well as some light pole improvements.
Which we've known about that coming for a long time, it's just finally coming to fruition.
Yes.
And we've only been talking about it for what, a decade,
Yeah.
give or take? When I was on council before, we were talking about it.
It'll
Quite a
be
while.
nice when it's done. Sounds like bid letting will be in February now. With probably a March, April, bid award. Starting in spring or summer.
That'll be a mess for 2 years.
Well, it sounds like, according to Mark, they're gonna, it's all the paving will be done the first year. And then the second year is kind of clean up in the road.
Did they just, you know, their meeting, they said it was a 2-year project, and I could just see one way through here, 2 years.
It sounds like for the most part, they're keeping 2 lanes open. Work on one and keep the other 2 open.
And then work on
I just wanted to kind of tell people what we were highlighting in the budget, so. Our normal city budget is not.
You didn't do anything as far as a projected paving district or anything, did you?
We did budget for that potentially. We budgeted $1 million in expenditures in the street department. Of course, again, a lot of that is, you know, considering FEMA reimbursements and things. We're gonna be doing a bunch of armor coating here, again, another 30 blocks, and starting in about a week. And so those expenses won't come until the new fiscal year budget, so. We did budget for that, yes.
But we're not in a position to move forward with paving district yet.
What is this will be our last year coming up for that paving district that we have in place. Isn't this the last year?
In terms of indebtedness, I think it was a 2010 South Street paving, where we did the sewer with that paving. We have some bank notes, essentially, First National Bank, West Plains Bank rate for that project, and debt service is essentially covering that payment. It's about $92,000 a year. That is, this coming fiscal year will be the last payment, so. that would be nice.
So we'll have another one in place following that if we can. I think that would be our goal.
We'll have that 92,000 at least freed up in debt service, that potentially could go toward.
How long's the other one got left, the one you redid, portion of Oak and Wood, Osborne and Woodward and those, that's got a few, yeah.
Those were actually paving districts.
Right, but you still,
Special
city still borrowed quite a bit, bonded quite a bit on that.
I could be wrong. I was thinking the one we're paying on was the,
I was thinking that's the only one we have for a paving district.
Was it South Street?
I have to look back.
Well,
It was before.
behind the Methodist church there, and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the latest paving district.
Right.
Right,
But that's
it was
the-
Osborne and Woodward and
The
both.
city's not having to debt service that one out of the general debt retirement. We've got another deal on South Street that we're paying for, $96,000 a year.
The different, okay, gotcha.
And when that one's paid off this coming year, then that'll free up the ability cash flow wise to be able to take something else on. But we're essentially, we're a year away from being able to do that.
And thank God for debt service. There was something that we've done really well in the past with the city was that local option sales tax for debt service. It's been a really great asset for the city to be able to do projects and have a funding source. for
That's
that.
what, 20% of the 1% sales tax? Is that 20% is debt service?
60%.
60% of 1% is debt service.
And
Because
then
ABC is a portion.
ABC is 20, and then general debt reduction is 20, which basically is just going into the general fund to help with general government activities.
Nursing homes and things like that.
Correct.
It's coming
You ain't
from
gonna let that
somewhere.
go, are you?
It isn't magic, it's coming from somewhere, so. Rock hasn't donated.
Yeah, so is there any other questions, comments, suggestions?
Nothing on the budget, but how did JC like his water system out there?
It's helping him a lot.
Yeah, time-wise, it looks browner than it has in the past.
It didn't rain all of August.
Well, I understand.
I think part of it is basically seeing where our issues are, and I think we're gonna have to make some adjustments maybe.
Okay. I don't wanna ask him and
Right.
get him upset or whatever.
Well-
He does such a good job on the whole park, but I was
Absolutely.
just curious how, if he said anything. I know it's taking a lot less time for it.
But he lives there anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I see him out there on Sundays stinking around.
Oh, yeah. But I think that's part of it, just getting onto the system this first year.
Keeping our yard watered, I've had sprinklers in my house for 6 years now on the entire property. And this August is the hardest I've had to run since 2012 by far. It just wasn't even close. I found spots where my sprinklers weren't doing the job, but I thought I was in golden shape. But at the end of August, I was still scorched grass, and we had no changes and stuff. And we were watering at least every other day.
It's been beneficial, I think.
Yeah.
It's still, it'd be weeds and brown if it didn't sprinklers.
Okay, well, hearing no other comment, we will close the budget hearing and the tax request hearing at 5:21. And we'll move into our regular city council agenda. Under item number 3 for the consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from the August 12th, 2020 regular meeting and the September 9th, 2020 special meeting. We have the approval of claims, the treasurer's report, and department head reports. Any of these items can be moved out of consent agenda by council member request. Are there any questions on the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
the agenda in a second, and we'll do a roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Tony?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Motion passed. Okay, we'll go down to the mayor's report and any appointments.
Okay. To start off, Board of Health, of course, at the last city council meeting, they approved 15 properties as dangerous. Lisa has sent out those letters to those individuals with those properties that were declared dangerous. The letters were mailed out on September 8th, 2020 to each property owner, letting them know they have two options. Option one is to dispute the violation within 10 days of the date of the letter. Option two is to comply within 30 days of the date of the letter to correct issues determined under section 3-407 of the Ainsworth Municipal Code. Individuals may contact the city with their plans to comply with the issues identified, any time frame for completion. I believe we've had 3 individuals already contacted us, is that correct? Lisa?
I've had a few calls to contact me.
So it has
Department.
drawn some attention.
Any movement on any of them?
No, I don't think to date, but definite plans. There are some people who, with harvest and everything, the timing's maybe not the best for them, but they do have a plan in mind to either try to take the structure down or at least get it secured.
The one I had wants to know if he wants to get rid of the property, get rid of the structure.
Item 2, I met with Vance Hire, president of the Angel Lions Club, to determine a plan and time frame to complete a project for border and rubber material to be applied around the playground equipment in East Park. I know the Lions Club will be meeting on Monday and hopefully get some more definite plans there so we can continue to move forward jointly between the Lions Club and the city. And then I attended the NCDC meeting this morning, and I made a commitment that the city would assist the NCDC as they work toward developing plans for housing. The city would have our LB 840 attorney review the NCDC plan and make recommendations to help them to move forward. As far as appointments, the library board was given notice that Tracy Ganser is going to be going off the board, so we'd like to thank her for her years of service, and appointing Luke Hitchcock to replace Tracy. That term will be until April 24th of 2024. Under the ABC committee, the student representative, and that's a 2-year term, was John Ortner. John has graduated, so appointing a junior to take that place for the next 2 years, and that would be Alyssa Eartham. And that term will expire on September 15th of 2022. And that is all I have.
Need a motion on the 2 appointments?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, we do.
I'll make a motion to appoint Luke Hitchcock
Yes,
to the library board and what's their name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa Eartham to the ABC committee.
Okay, a motion to approve and a second. Roll call. Tony?
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Greg?
Aye.
Okay, moving on, we have no further public hearings and no old business carried from the last meeting. So we'll go to the regular agenda. Item 8, consider approval of the 2020-2021 budget and tax levy. This will be resolution 20-07. What's that?
Is that public hearing on this? Okay.
Resolution 20-07 essentially states that the governing body of the city, by majority vote, will pass a resolution to set the tax request. that a special hearing is held, required by law to hear and consider the comments concerning the property tax request. Therefore, the City of Ainsworth governing body resolves that the 2020-2021 property tax request will be set at $408,661. The total assessed value of property differs from last year's total assessed value by 2%. The tax rate, which would levy the same amount of property taxes as last year when multiplied by the new total assessed value of property, would be 0.442800 for $100 of assessed value. The City of Ainsworth proposes to adopt a property tax request that will cause its tax rate to be 45 cents per $100 of assessed value. Based on the proposed property tax request and changes in other revenue, the total operating budget of the City of Ainsworth will exceed last year's by 17%. A copy of the resolution will be certified and forwarded to the county clerk on or before October 13th of 2020.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021 budget and tax levy resolution, number 20-07. What I'm saying is all correctly. The first one.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call. Brad?
Yes.
Greg? Tony?
Lisa, you guys do, I see on here, the 45-cent general levy, do you levy the taxes on that 5 cents for the interlocal agreements? You do levy that, okay. I knew that was in the levy authority, I just didn't want to make sure that that was getting levied too, so.
Yes, that's correct. It's kind of in that lid
Yep,
conversation.
right.
Okay, and then typically once the budget is adopted, we always ask the city council to also increase our total restricted funds by an additional 1%. This is an emergency case that just gives the city council the authority, should there be some kind of a disaster or emergency, to give us the authority by state statute to expend that additional 1%.
10% of the 400,000.
Correct.
I make a motion to increase the total restricted funds by an additional 1%.
Okay, motion and a second, any other discussion? Okay, roll call, Greg,
Aye.
Tony,
Aye.
Brad?
Yes.
Okay, since we have some audience members here, we're gonna go ahead and skip down to item P on the second page, which is to consider the recommendation by the Ainsworth Betterment Committee to deny the funding request by Ainsworth Child Development Center LLC in the amount of $200,000. Since you all are here, would you like to speak to it, or did you have something you wanted to?
Yeah, we would like to, and I hope you apologize for the additional audience members we have tonight. My name is Devin Franz, and I'm the treasurer of Ainsworth Child Development Center. We did meet with the ABC committee 3 weeks ago now, to request funding for a child development center that we hope to build on Oak Street. I think their main concern was the amount of money that we requested, and we completely understand that it's a little unorthodox to ask for that amount. But who better to ask than the Ainsworth Betterment community to bring something that is going to increase the livelihood of, Ainsworth's citizens. So, I see on there that they did deny it, and that's completely understandable. But we hope to go back and see if they would maybe consider paying for fencing or a sign or things like that. Because this is a reality that we're going to bring to Ainsworth. So that's, I guess, our piece on that. Does anyone have any questions regarding that?
I think that, my understanding from the committee, and maybe they relayed this to you personally, but they supported your cause, is my understanding. You know, everybody in the community wanted to see a daycare facility. I think their reasoning that they conveyed to me was they just thought ABC wasn't maybe the appropriate funding source for LBA 40 to be better. And that was the reason for their denial, that they supported.
Did they have a recommendation about
I think they had recommended maybe some different sites, some buildings that were already in existence.
what I was talking about, back to what Devin said, fencing and that type of stuff?
Right.
Not specifically, but I was at the meeting and I heard them say things like that, yes.
There's gonna be an opportunity to use ABC for pieces of the puzzle. The big chunk of the puzzle is gonna need to come from a different avenue. And I think LB 840 is by far and away a better way for you to approach the big piece of the puzzle.
Agreed, and yeah, we will be seeking funding through them as well. We're just, we are all not entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
And so, to be totally honest, we just know that this is a huge need in Ainsworth, and so we're a group of moms and educators that are working to make it happen in the right way, through the right avenues. So yes, LB 840 is something that we are going to pursue. And I know this is on another agenda item, but once we have a few more things finalized, we will start that pursuit.
We do applaud you guys for taking on this venture. It is, like you all stated, it's definitely needed in our community. It has been for a number of years, so we do applaud you guys for stepping up to the plate and going forward with this, and, you know, not get discouraged and continue to move forward with it.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
We're on your side, it's just gotta be a different channel.
Yes, and that's completely understandable.
Yeah. Any other questions on the ABC recommendation?
Yeah, we have,
You have to
we have to.
have a motion, yeah.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to deny the $200,000 request from ABC for the Ainsworth Child Development Center requested by ABC.
A motion and second, any further questions or comments? Roll call, Tony,
Aye.
Brad,
Yes.
Greg,
You got a childcare center in town, you wouldn't have to bring your kiddos to a city council meeting, huh?
Let Dad get a little
Okay, so now we'll go back to item M. It all just kind of, you know, flows together there. Yeah. Item M is to discuss and consider sealed bids received regarding the sale of excess property located at Lot 1, Block 34, Hall's addition to the city of Ainsworth in Brown County, Nebraska. So this is that sub lot at 3rd and one sealed bid for the property.
You have to have more than one, or that, you said you have to at least get one, either approver or like that.
Okay. To whom it may concern, Haynes or Child Development Center Incorporated would like to put a bid of $4,500 on the city-owned lot located at 38th Street, Nebraska. This would be contingent on receiving the setback variances necessary in order to build the size of the center that we need, as well as the rezoning necessary to build a daycare facility. Changing it from residential 1 to residential 2, and thus receiving necessary funding in order to build. Thank you, Haynes or Child Development Center.
Any questions on that, Rod, or?
Well, it's a conditional bid, and I don't think it can be a conditional bid, it has to be a bid. I don't think you can say it's subject to this, subject to that, subject to this. Either it has to be a bid or it's not a bid.
At this point, you have to deny this one, have it rebid it.
And have them resubmit, reopen it again.
Do you mind if I speak to our bid?
Sure.
So the contingencies that we put in there, is based on the funding that we get. We have been accepted, through a, I guess it's a,
Communities for Kids Fund.
yes, it's called Communities for Kid, it's a place out of Lincoln, and that's all they do is they build and grow childcare facilities in rural areas. With that along comes a $10,000 grant. We will not be able to receive those funds until we have our meeting. Our meeting with them is next Thursday. So while at this point we don't physically have the funds in our hands, next Thursday we meet them.
But also the zone, I mean, yeah, we're not
That's
able to do
rough.
anything until the zoning
Could they
and setbacks are
request
adjusted.
those zoning setbacks, and if they get approved, then make the bid at that time? Can that be done?
The city can do it on their own.
As far as the zoning, go ahead and try to get that done on their behalf, potentially.
We have to have a building permit, are you guys close to that? Are you, do you have a building plan or a? site?
Yes, it's being approved by, some state architects, but the preliminary, yes, it has been approved.
I mean, for us to do that, that's. the first
That's kind of
step
our
of
holdup,
this.
yeah, is in order to purchase it, we need for it to be zoned and the setbacks to be adjusted. But in order for those to happen, it sounds like we have to own lots, so it's kind of a,
Yeah, we have to have the site plan.
So if we had the site plan, we could review to see if potentially we can change it from residential 1 to 2, and the zoning setbacks.
It all starts with the site.
And then if we handle that, then that would answer their question, and then we can have a rebid at that time.
I'm sure we have to re-advertise. Would not.
But then that would answer you guys' questions, if we could get what you need, and then again, we'd have to rebid it at that time.
so at this point, then you just need the plans, the building
And
plans.
the site plan, and how you want it situated on the lot, things like that. And then that kind of kickstarts our review for the zoning and what changes would need to be made if there was something that needed to be done beyond just like the conditional use permit. Or, if we're gonna have to have request variances or something a little more in depth than what I myself can do as zoning administrator.
So we should give this back to them.
So
You're
you-
rejecting
We
it.
act on it.
Right.
And then once we get the site plan from you, we can look at the zoning plans, we at that point we re-advertise the bid.
Have you have not seen those site plans? Oh, okay.
What kind of time frame would you be looking at, Lisa, if we were to give us the site plan?
Well, it kind of depends on what's going on. I mean, if it's just a conditional use permit, is that what, I'm trying to remember how it's done.
Public hearings.
You have to go to the planning commission, which is a public hearing, and then any decision by the planning commission is a recommendation, so it has to come to the city council. So essentially, it's two public hearings, 2 meetings for that. If you have, if you are gonna be asking maybe for setback variances or things of those natures, that's a separate process too from the conditional use permit. That goes to the Board of Adjustment, and that's also a public hearing. But their decision is final. Their decision does not need to come to the city council. So it just kind of depends on that site plan, and what things don't comply and what that process is. You know, there'll be some negotiations with you guys as to what you want to do at that point, and we make a plan for how we present that to the prospective boards.
So if I did that, I want to come in, visit with you, and get a checklist of what you,
Well, usually when that starts with that building permit, when you get your site plan, you apply for the building permit, and then we review that against the zoning ordinances. And then if there's issues, basically, we call you and discuss what those are, and then kind of have a dialogue about what we're gonna do about that. You know, if it needs to go to the board, if it's a draft, or if the site plan can be amended, you know, what to do at that point.
Not simple.
It's a little frustrating because
Lisa?
we would have, you know, obviously taken those avenues before, you know. We've been in communication, so it would have been nice to know that piece
True.
earlier.
Lisa, if we needed to provide some parking similar to, like the dental clinic, who do we approach for that?
On private property from the dental clinic, is that what
so, doing it for parking, kind of what the dental clinic did on your.
Oh, like you wanna cut the curb?
On the east
Right,
side there.
right.
Yeah, that's
doing
part of
that
your
property.
site plan.
Is
Um,
that
You would
a
wanna.
conditional use, or is that a Board of Adjustments?
No, that's just part of your building permit.
Okay.
And that's
Just
like-
put
that's
that on
that
our
review
plan.
That we do.
Okay,
If you wanna do that, the city can approve that,
Okay.
on inspection from the streets.
so include that with our site plan?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
thank you.
think I had talked to somebody, Riley maybe, about that and said, make sure you include that in the plan. Because then we know that the street department needs to go take a look at that and see how
Okay.
many spaces you can have there.
Potentially some of these issues may be easily resolved.
Yeah, a lot of it just is we need to see what you want to do. That's our.
Okay. Thank you.
I make a motion to reject the bid at this moment, at this time.
I'll second that motion, I guess I hate to.
Hey, no, I did.
too.
I want to go forward.
I've been down this whole road myself with a few things over the years, and it's incredibly frustrating, the wheels of progress turn so slow. But at least they're moving somewhere sideways.
This is why private business does things sometimes better than government. It's just it's a quicker process. Okay.
Problem is, we have to get it right for you guys, because I can tell you right now, from being on LD 840 stuff in the past, if you don't have all of this groundwork laid correctly to start with, there's zero chance LD 840 being able to help you. So, if we don't get this right for you guys, as painful as today is, and that this isn't going just the way you want, if we don't get it right, and we don't work the process the way it's designed to be worked, you got zero chance LD 840 working when the time comes. So, forgive us for the short-term pain for hopefully this being able to work correctly down the road from here when we get to that stage, so.
Well, we really appreciate your information and guidance, and we can feel your support. So we will get it figured out and go the right route, because that's what we want to do, and we want this to not just be a quick fix, but
And
to
we want you
be
to
looking
succeed
for our
with your
future.
endeavor, so.
So, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
The building plan is really kind of the stepping stone and the foundation, I guess.
Okay.
When you're talking about zoning, if you guys had a private lot already and you weren't wanting or needing zoning changes, that wouldn't necessarily be as big of a thing. But that's what we have to have to start that process.
Sounds great.